to really go, deep inside of us. So I think that meditation can really help. Yoga can really help. Just sitting. I mean, and even if you're not really a spiritual person or you don't really like yoga, just finding that peace inside, because without the peace, there can also not be activity. Like, especially when you're a very active person, you also need to know when it's time to do nothing. And for me, it's also, like purposeless walking, for example. Nothing better than that. Just walking. Yeah, not knowing where you're going. Like this not having a purpose sometimes is actually really good, Or Thich Nhat Hanh calls it the art of doing nothing, because it is an art, and it's something that I think, we really need to have in our lives. So that's a really important thing. So in the last few episodes with all the beautiful ladies, I was always asking, like, so who's your inspiration? And I think it's a really important thing to talk about this for a little bit, is inspiration. Like, I think that people who inspire us, they just kind of show this mirror to us. Like, I find it in yoga, we use the word guru a lot, and I find the word guru really heavy. It's like, it really sounds like God, and I think that that's a really big word to use for, or to put on anybody. It's more also that it's not just, hey, they're my guru, and you're using that word to kind of express your feelings towards that person or where they are, where they sit with you. But my teacher, David Life, he explains that guru, you just have to spell it. G-U-R-U. So it's a reflection of yourself. Like, they are just mirroring the beauty inside of you. And so that's, I think, what a true guru does. And anybody can be a guru, or anybody can be that. But I think that is where the inspiration usually is. Like, I've met a lot of people, many of these people are women, in my life, who really inspire me and uplift me. They kind of bring me to a higher level, and I think that that's a really important thing. And the animals, so fighting for animal rights, being an animal lover, understanding that we are all sharing the earth, and understanding that animal beings are beings just as much as we are, was a very big lesson in my life. And I really, 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 really love animals, and it's the reason why I am on a plant-based diet, and why I am an animal rights activist and a vegan activist, fighting for the rights of animals, fighting for those who just can't do it themselves. I mean, we as human beings have the ability to say stop or no, or we can communicate, and then another human being understands what we're saying. But animal beings can't do that. And when I get asked the question, of course, all the time, like, what is it? What is it about animals? And I can't really explain it. The only thing that I can say is that I feel I have this spiritual connection with animals. And some people who have met me and have seen me interact with animals, I think can kind of relate to that. I've been with lots of pretty dangerous animals, I guess, or, animals that have a name of being dangerous. And for some reason, they always like kind of fall in my lap straight away, or they seem to trust me, or we seem to have some kind of secret or hidden language between ourselves. And that is what I always loved. And I think that every child from a young age, we grow up loving animals. All of our children books are stories of animals. All the movies that young kids watch, they're all full of animals. Like, we have this. That's also why I'm always so intrigued / confused about especially parents who have that kind of disconnect there, because I'm always thinking, like, well, you're reading this story to your child every night. you were a child once. You know, we were all children once. And as children, we really learned the amazing importance of animals and animal beings, and how much we need them. And all my memories with animals are so special and so amazing. And it's something that I always hold so close to my heart. So if anything, I think they truly are my biggest inspiration. Just thinking about animals makes me happy. I like making little altars for myself, which is just like a place where I put some pictures and images and around my house. And most of the time, you know, there's tigers and elephants and dogs and, you know, foxes and all kinds of statues, cows, of course, Gopala, on there. And it's just a really nice, you know, it's just, it just reminds me of how much I love animals. Which brings me to another piece of reading I'd like to read to you. It's from definitely one of my biggest inspiration, Sharon Gannon, co-founder of Jivamukti Yoga. When I learned of Sharon, I was just in such awe of her, and I was like, wow, you know, this woman is so amazing. She's done so much, and really used her like there's a different channel coming through her when she does all this work for the animals. And she's such a dedicated activist on so many levels, such a wonderful, wonderful being. And I think she too has this spiritual connection with animal beings. But she wrote a book called Yoga and Vegetarianism. And I'm going to read a little bit from the chapter Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Let's look more closely at this invocational mantra. Loka means location, realm, all universes existing now. Samasta, all beings sharing that same location. Sukhinu, centered in happiness and joy, free from suffering. Bhav, the divine mood or state of unified existence. Antu, may it be so, it must be so. Antu, used as an ending here, transforms this mantra into a powerful pledge. This is a prayer each one of us can practice every day. It reminds us that our relationships with all beings and things should be mutually beneficial if we ourselves desire happiness and liberation from suffering. No true or lasting happiness can come from causing unhappiness to others. No true or lasting freedom can come from depriving others of their freedom. If we say we want every being to be happy and free, then we have to question everything that we do, how we live, how we eat, what we buy, how we speak, and even how we think. So let that sink in for a minute. Actually, do I have time? Yes, I think we have time for this. I'm looking at this. Why don't we chant it together? So, this is a super cool exercise. It just spontaneously came to me. So, repeat after me, call and response. Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu. Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu. Let's chant it together. So I'll do one round and then you can all join me. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Together. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste. So, as a last thing before closing this special 4.0 edition of Go For Your Life. Why did I start Go For Your Life? Well, so I was born, as you know, 40 years ago in the Netherlands. I lived in the Netherlands for quite a while. My dad really loved to travel, and he took me to the States a few times. We went there on family holidays, and I always, I think from a very young age, had this travel bug inside of me. So I always wanted to travel and, get into the world and show the world what I had, show the world what I could do. I had an absolute love for acting in the theater. So for quite a while, I was a performer, and I did a lot of acting and theater and teaching drama, teaching theater, most of that in Holland. But I moved to Australia in 2014, in 2004, I moved to Australia, and I lived there for 10 years. In 2014, actually, I visited Lisbon. I fell in love with a beautiful guy. His name is Miguel. He's my very first episode. If you're a little curious, check him out. He is my biggest inspiration. I love him very much. It's so great to be an activist team together and to live the dreams together and support each other's dreams, because they aren't always the same. Like Miguel and I really have a dream together, and then we have our own dreams. And I think that's the beauty and also the secret of our relationship, which I'm also celebrating today, because today we are together for 5 years. So I love you, Miguel. And then moved to Portugal, where I am now. Well, I'm not now there right now, because as I told you, I'm in New York, but I live in Lisbon. But then next year, in 2020, I am moving to Amsterdam, because I think it's an amazing city. There's a lot of potential there, and I really miss, I miss my family a bit as well. I have 2 awesome nephews, a sweet brother, a great mom. Like I really feel after 16 years of not being in Holland, I'm starting to miss it a little, even some cultural things and speaking my own language, all that. It's going to be great. And Amsterdam is such a vibrant city. I really feel I'm a person who always needs that kind of vibration and power and like being empowered. I don't need power. I don't need power, but I want to be empowered and inspired. And I know that city. I always loved Amsterdam. I'm from a town called Dordrecht, so I spend most of my time in Holland, in Rotterdam actually. But Amsterdam always felt so much like my home. I had a lot of friends there. I still do. And I don't know, there's something about walking around in that city that makes me so happy. I can't wait to just cycle around there with the love of my life, Sparky. He's, as you know, the co-host of the show. I cannot end this episode without mentioning him. I love him so much. It's going to be his birthday in a few days. He's turning 12. We're all getting a little older. He really is. He's been everywhere. I got him in Australia. He came into my life in Australia. He's seen everything. Like I was married and then I wasn't, and I've been traveling, and then I was in the theater and I was in the circus, and then I started decided to move back to Europe, and then he came, and I mean, we really have, he's been my absolute best friend, my son, my love, my everything. Like, so he means the absolute world